Mississippi State is riding high into its 2020 home opener. Meanwhile, Arkansas is looking to snap a long SEC losing streak under first-year head coach Sam Pittman. In order to do that, they have to stop the Pirate, Mike Leach. No quarter will be given to SEC defenses this season. The air raid is back.
We tried to play the Patriots, then the Packers, and then the Chiefs, and then those guys, they were all busy for this particular weekend.
Going to throw it to him, and he's wide open on the sideline of it. He is gone. Touchdown. Perfect throw. Perfect touch. Bigger the end zone. Touchdown. Number 5 for KJ Costello. Mississippi State has pulled off an upset on the road.
What a scene it was last week in Death Valley, and tonight, welcome to Stark Vegas. Mississippi State back in the top 25, squaring off against Arkansas as SEC Network football returns to the Magnolia State. 15,000 strong already on hand. Great to be with you on this Saturday night with Kelly Stopper. I am Roy Philpott. Tara Talmadge joins us down on the sidelines in just 1 minute. A great start for the air raid and for KJ Costello. I'd say it's off and running in the SEC, Kelly.
There isn't any question about it, and Mike Leach certainly was not bashful in his return, a long time coming to the SEC.
KJ Costello, the story in college football a week ago, 623 passing yards, smashing an age-old passing record in the SEC, and that's just getting started.
And the air raid offense is typically an offense that gets better over time, and so those numbers are going to be unbelievable. But two questions now arise. First of all, what are you going to do for an encore? And secondly, how does this team handle the success that they're now getting?
And how do they accomplish all of that tonight against Arkansas? So in essence, how does the air raid work? How does it function in the Southeastern Conference?
Well, first of all, we have to define it, and it's defined more of a philosophy than X's and O's. It's an attitude of optimism that Mike Leach brings, but there is a core group of X's and O's that we need to break down. And those concepts are repeated over and over and over again. The most iconic is the mesh route. You can see that cross in the middle of the field is where this route gets its name. Those receivers cross one another against man, it turns into potentially a big play just like this. And all the time with Mike Leach's concepts, you have the mesh route again, but you almost always have a vertical choice for the quarterback. It's an attacking offense, it's a mentality, and KJ Costello knows how to use it already.
Arkansas rolls into town. Pretty good performance a week ago against Georgia. Led the Dogs by 2 at halftime. Felipe Franks going to make his second start after transferring in from Florida. Your thoughts on what he brings to the table?
And what he needs to bring to the table is stability at that quarterback position. And Felipe Franks has everything that you need physically. He needs to make great decisions early in this game to give his team a chance.
We check in with Tara Talmadge for the first time. And Tara, it feels like Felipe and this coaching staff have meshed fairly well to kickstart this 2020 season.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Arkansas has been on a quarterback carousel over the past couple of years. They've had 8 different starting quarterbacks in just the past 2 seasons alone. So getting Felipe Franks, a guy with SEC experience, is big time for the Hogs. Now you pair that with head coach Sam Pittman, who says he just wants to make the state of Arkansas proud. Those two guys give this Razorback team some hope going into this season.
Sam Pittman, first season in Fayetteville, stops all across the country. His latest offensive line coach at Georgia. We're just about set and ready to go. Razorbacks won the coin toss and deferred the second half. We'll get to see the air raid in short order here in Stark Vegas. Great to have you with us tonight. A great atmosphere. Everybody socially distanced, including us here in the booth. On a beautiful night for college football. Devontae Payton ushered out at the 26. Now KJ Costello, the transfer from Stanford. What a great career he had with the Cardinal. 4-star quarterback in the ESPN 300 back in the day in 2016. See the 25 career starts, and a lot of people compared him to Andrew Luck early in his career. I don't know that that panned out, but I think he made himself a lot of money last week with what he did down on the Bayou.
Yeah, KJ came here for this reason. He wanted the challenge of running this system with Mike Leach, and what a start did they have together.
Was thinking about transferring to Wazoo before Mike Leach strolled into town in late January, early February. KJ Costello followed. Beautiful marriage so far. Pitch and catch. Cameron Gardner has it and has a first down.
So this air raid offense is efficient, it's simple, it's effective. It's a handful of core pass routes that Mike Leach repeats over and over and over again. And the offense typically, because of the way that Mike Leach practices, is always more experienced at running those concepts than the defense is defending those concepts.
Quick toss, batted in the air and incomplete. It'll bring up second down.
It's a great job by Grant Morgan getting his hands on the ball, and defensive coordinator for Arkansas, Barry Odom, told us that every time you can break on the ball, get a hand on the ball in those zones, try to create a lot of debris on the back end and force the ball out of KJ's hands into a lot of really tight windows like we saw right there.
Took about a quarter for Mississippi State to get going on offense a week ago down at LSU. On second down, Costello with all kinds of time, dumps it off. Marks has it. He's got another first down, rumbling into plus territory. Tackled by Bumper Pool, but Mississippi State in business.
And that time, Barry Odom elected to only rush 3 and drop 8. And you theoretically have so many defenders in zones that guys like Marks shouldn't have been wide open right there.
Quavius Marks picks up 13. Kylan Hill in the backfield flanking Costello. All SEC running back. Was a better receiver a week ago. Curious to see what his carries look like tonight. And there's number 1 on cue. Through the A gap and a nice gain on first down.
And Mike Leach isn't adverse to running the football, and Arkansas thinks this ball came out late from Hill, but I believe it's going to be ruled down.
Ruling on the field, the player was down.
And this is a reviewable play whether the Hill was down or not. That ball certainly seemed like it was on its way out. I think the replay booth is going to take hold of this one. I think that ball was coming loose, Roy, before Hill actually got to the ground.
Kylan Hill's never lost a fumble for the Mississippi State Bulldogs, the senior from right across the street in Columbus. And I think Bumper Pool jumped right on it. I think they're going to overturn this call.
The player was down. The previous play is under further review.
Yeah, I think Arkansas is going to have this ball. The ball wasn't really visible on the ground, and you could see Hill. I don't think he's right. I think he took a shot to the side of the helmet, and that ball was coming loose. And Roy, you talked about Poole had an immediate recovery of the ball, which is very important. I think that ball's on its way out. It doesn't have to be completely loose from Hill. It just needs to be no longer in his grasp. And I think this is going to be Arkansas's ball, and a great start defensively, if indeed it is.
Simeon Blair came crashing in, 15 in white, to help jar the ball loose. He had a couple of his buddies with him, including Zach Williams. Kylan Hill's head came down hard on the turf, it looked like. It's got to be indisputable video evidence from where I'm from. I think that's what we saw there.
I think you're exactly right. I think this is going to be overturned, and it's going to be Arkansas ball, and that's really Arkansas's game plan. They have to steal possessions from Mike Leach in that offense, and that's exactly the way you do it, is you get a turnover on that first drive.
Matt Leffler, our referee tonight. Gerald Hodges in the replay booth.
The ruling on the field stands. It was second down.
Wow. I agree that the ball wasn't completely out of the possession, but Hill no longer had the ball in his arm. With that first hit right there, that ball's on its way out. And then I think it was Hill's head banging to the turf that shook the running back up just a little bit.
So after all of that, gain of 7 for Kylan Hill, who appears to be okay. Quavius Marks joins Costello in the backfield. Top passing offense in the country on display tonight. Marks has it, and he's got a first down after a gain of 4. Stopped by Bumper Pool.
And KJ Costello early in this game, Roy, is doing a really nice job of being patient. He told us on the phone during the week that you have to be patient in this offense and get the ball out. And you also have to know when to say uncle. And that's giving up on a play if you're a quarterback. Throwing the ball away is an okay play once in a while.
Dylan Johnson checks in, 23 in maroon and white. Delayed handoff. He'll get it and tumble ahead, crossing the 35. It's a gain of 4. Arkansas defense led by Barry Odom, the head coach at Missouri just 1 year ago.
And we're already seeing a little bit of Odom's game plan. There's a lot of rush 3, drop 8, and force Costello and this receiving group from Mississippi State to be on the same page.
On second down, Costello surveys, fires high, and it's going to be picked off. Intercepted by the Hogs. Going the other way for the touchdown. It's the Arkansas Razorbacks. Greg Brooks had it, and he scores on the pick 6.
Simply an errant pass by KJ Costello. It was a zone defense, and there was a shallow crossing route coming from your right to the left, and Costello didn't see out in front of the crossing receiver, but threw a very poor pass to begin with. Brooks was just dropping into a zone, saw that crossing route coming, and then all of a sudden, the ball's in his chest.
The Hogs force the turnover. Score on the pick 6. And A.J. Reed on for the point after. Banks it through. Well, KJ Costello threw a pick 6 last week against LSU to Jabril Cox. He'll do it again tonight. And the Dogs with work to do here at home. Early on, 7-0 Arkansas. Fast start for the Hogs back in Starkville. Kelly Stofford, Tara Talmadge, Roy Philpott here inside Davis Wade Stadium. A pick 6. Greg Brooks Jr. just a moment ago returning it 69 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah, that was a really strange play. It was a crossing route. It's called a shallow crosser coming from Gardner, number 18, from left to right. And KJ Costello, it's almost like he expected in that zone coverage on the back end for Arkansas for his crossing receiver to throttle it down a little bit. And needless to say, receiver and quarterback were not on the same page.
Dylan Johnson, the Mississippi State running back, as Kylan Hill was banged up. A third play from scrimmage. Johnson barrels ahead for a gain of 3.
And Roy, the reason that we're seeing more run game early out of Mike Leach is because the 3-man rush most of the time. 3-man are rushing, 8 are dropping. It's a really inviting box numbers-wise in which to run the football, and that was one of Barry Odom's strategy, is give a really inviting box, hoping that Leach would run the ball more.
That's part of the chess match that's going to go on all season long against Mike Leach in the air raid. In a double coverage and a nice reception for another first down for Mississippi State.
Jaden Wally comes down with that one, and right now what you're seeing, because of the zone on the back end, there's a lot of receivers that are crossing from left to right and vice versa. And you have to throttle it down in zones more than they had to do last week against the almost exclusively man-to-man coverage from Bo Pelini and LSU.
So, Kelly, that's a gain of 16, the first reception in Wally's career, the freshman. As Costello surveys, goes deep, looking for the Alabama transfer Tyrell Shavers. Double coverage will bring up second down.
Well, right now, Barry Odom is winning this chess match, and it's not really with Mike Leach. It's more with Mike Leach's quarterbacks and receivers. A lot of clutter and zone on the back end for Arkansas defensively in coverage, and Costello and receivers simply are not on the same page.
Miles Slusher in coverage that time for the Hawks. 2nd and 10. Arkansas challenge number 4. Georgia just 1 week ago, leading at halftime 7-5. Dogs figured out what they were trying to do at quarterback, and then it changed the complexion of the game midway through the third. Out of the gun, here's Costello once again. The dump off. Johnson has it. And a short gain on 2nd down, ahead to the 47.
But typically, when you're playing Mike Leach in the air raid, the more a running back either runs it or catches it as a check down receiver, the better the defense is doing. And right now, Arkansas is doing a great job of forcing the short throws and then breaking on the ball and tackling really well in space.
Johnson picks up 4. 3rd down and 6 for Mississippi State. Fast start for the Hogs on the road. Clean pocket for Costello. And after the quick breakdown, Wally makes his second grab, short of first down yardage, however. And let's see if Mike Leach wants to go for it early.
And Mike Leach is that guy, and he may want to go for it early to give some energy into his offense. He's a guy that likes to go for it on 4th and short anyway, and I would expect him to do it right around the 50-yard line right here.
Simeon Blair forces 4th and 3. Now in plus territory for the Bulldogs. What do you call here?
A lot of check with me at the line of scrimmage, and handing the ball off on a simple zone run with a very inviting box might be it.
Good call. Johnson, can he get to the edge? Nice cut inside. A first down for Mississippi State. Slusher brought him down, but not before the drive stays alive.
And Arkansas did the right thing initially. They forced the running back to go horizontally, and then they didn't tackle very well. First things first, they forced the running back to bounce it on 4th and short, but then the leverage didn't catch up with the play.
It's already been a wild evening in the SEC. We saw Lane Kiffin pull out an overtime win against Kentucky earlier.
First charge timeout, Arkansas.
Hawks are going to utilize a timeout here.
That's a 30-second.
8:38 remaining in the first quarter.
Well, Barry Odom told us that, you know, he's really a defensive coordinator, defensive-minded head coach at Missouri that's built on playing man-to-man defense. And he said, but that didn't go very well with LSU, so we're seeing a boatload of zone early from Arkansas.
Let's take a look at our keys to the game presented by Dr. Pepper Fansville. And that's what it's all about, facing the air raid.
Yeah, and the Razorbacks, first of all, Felipe Franks has to make really good decisions, and we haven't seen him yet. And defensive diversity, we're seeing a little bit of that. A lot of rush 3, drop 8. And the Bulldogs, they have to handle the prosperity. And right now, it doesn't look like they're very well equipped to play this evening, at least to start. And then they have to, when they finally get Felipe Franks on the field, they have to get after him and speed up that clock at the quarterback.
I spoke with KJ Costello via Zoom earlier this week, and I asked him the following question. Have you gotten a lot of sleep? And by Wednesday, the answer was no. But he did talk shows all around the country. He talked with us for about half an hour. It was fantastic. Handling success, not always easy. Let's see how it unfolds as Shavers calls in the reception, stopped by Hayden Henry.
Yeah, Roy, you and I talked about with KJ Costello, it might be like a mini version of the Heisman hangover. You know, he throws for 600 plus. They're the talk of the town. They're really the talk of the SEC, and you hope his preparation was good during the week.
Was the talk of the college football universe for the last 6.5 days for that stunning upset at Tiger Stadium. As Schrader in motion on 2nd down. Dump off to Johnson, tripped up short of the 35. It'll bring up 3rd and short. Greg Brooks got there first. And a methodical approach on this possession for the Bulldogs.
And that's Barry Odom's game plan, is force a methodical approach. There were times when KJ Costello got a little impatient against LSU, and now it's a bunch of zone clutter on the back end, and it's tailor-made to force the quarterback to be patient and methodically drive the football.
3rd and 3. The tunnel screen. Heath makes one man miss, bump forward. He'll be stopped right at the 35, and that's going to be maybe a foot or so short of first down yardage.
You've gone for it once, you go for it again, I would assume.
Hayden Henry is 2nd tackle on this possession. 2nd catch of the year for Heath. And here we go on 4th down for the Pirate. Johnson, all kinds of real estate, and an easy first down for the Bulldogs. Slusher with the stop. Impressive on the ground so far for Mississippi State.
And a really nice job by Johnson cutting it back to his right. It was zone play, which the beauty of it is you always have the opportunity to bust it to the backside, and that's what Johnson did right there.
On first down, Costello off the back foot, flings it forward. Wally has it, short pickup. Bumper pull with a tackle. Now the philosophy of the air raid really comes down to some basic principles, Kelly.
It does. Intuition through repetition, and it's the way that Mike Leach practices and attack. It's a completely different mentality than what Costello was used to at Stanford, and it's a commitment to throwing the ball first and thinking about the game a little bit differently.
Quavius Marks spun around inside the 20. Mississippi State now threatening for the first time tonight. Approaching 5 to play in the first quarter.
And the thing that's such a mystery really with the air raid is because a lot of it has to do in its pure form with Mike Leach's personality. And you obviously don't find that in many places.
We also haven't found Kylan Hill on the field on this possession. Marks will flank Costello once again. And another first down for the maroon and white, all the way ahead to the 12-yard line. Marks was stopped by bumper pull. And there's Kylan Hill.
You know, when a running back doesn't have his helmet close by, typically that's not a very good sign in terms of him re-entering the game. But right now, his offensive line is handling people up front, and Marks and or Johnson are doing a very good job in that simple zone run game right down Main Street.
And when you say simple, Costello's simply counting the number of helmets, the number of hats in the box. And if it's 5 or maybe 6, he's going to hand it off.
False start on the offense. Number 57, correction 67, 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's Charles Cross, starter, left tackle.
Yeah, just a little flinch, and you're exactly right what's going on right now with an intent to run the football against a very soft tackle box out of Arkansas defensively. Costello literally does what's called a check with me. He goes to the line, he surveys, counts the numbers in the box. If he likes the run, he checks to it. If not, he checks to a different pass.
Second time this year I've been right according to Kelly Stoffer. I appreciate it. Costello fires high. Was that pass picked off? It was not. It was dropped by Simeon Blair at the last minute.
And that's where KJ Costello has to get better. It's those sudden throws. And what I mean by sudden is you're going through your progression and you decide I have to throw a sudden pass to my check down. And with running backs and tight end type receivers, you got to put it on their body because they can't adjust nearly as well as the athletes outside.
2nd and 15. Costello retreats. Now flush towards the end zone. Back corner. Did he reel it in? about that missile delivered from K.J. Costello at the last second?
And K.J. buying a little bit of time. It was once again Barry Odom rushing 3, dropping 8. There's a picket fence in the end zone, and the quarterback gets outside the pocket, and Javonte Payton goes up and gets it. Does he get his foot in? Absolutely. Does he corral the ball? I believe he does. Quarterback Costello keeps it alive, and Payton pays it off for it.
How did Costello spot Payton open with basically 3 defenders right in front of him for numeral 0? That was a phenomenal throw on the run under duress.
It's been all rush 3, drop 8, form a picket fence on the back end and force Costello to find people, and he found Payton right there for a touchdown.
Brandon Rees on for the extra point, and the transfer from ASU bangs it home. We're tied at 7. 4 to play in a fast-moving first quarter. The first touchdown of the season for the senior from Nashville, Javonte Payton. Well, a fun start back in Stark Vegas, tied at 7. Kelly Stopper, Tara Talmadge, Roy Philpott on hand. Perfect night for college football, and K.J. Costello, a perfect dime drop just moments ago. Here's Devion Warren. That kick sailed through the end zone. Tell me what you saw in that last sequence.
Well, it became the scramble drill. Initially, if you watch where Costello is going to be looking, here is the initial receiver, Payton. Costello's looking to the right, and right there, it's the scramble drill. It's about throwing to green grass, and Payton is eventually going to work that way. And his quarterback's throw is going to lead Payton, the receiver, who catches that touchdown to that green grass. And Mike Leach is all about adjusting your routes and looking for open space in green grass, and that's a great look at it right there.
Empty backfield. First time we've talked about Felipe Franks tonight, as Rakeem Boyd motions right behind him out of the pistol. Quick toss into the boundary, and Boyd ushered out at the 30. A nice gain on first down for the Hogs. Now Felipe Franks, a grad transfer out of Florida. 3-year starter there. You see the numbers from a week ago, and threw an early touchdown to Treylon Burks. It kind of bogged down afterwards. Using tempo, they'll set up the tunnel screen, and it's dropped far side. Trying to spot Burks, who had a career effort against the Dogs last week at home.
And Felipe Franks was decent last week, but he simply has to be great. It's somewhat of a reclamation project for the offensive coordinator, Kendall Briles, and Franks has to be a stabilizing factor offensively.
He'll fake the shovel pass, brought down short of the line to gain is Franks by Tyrus Wheat. That'll force a 4th down and short.
And there are just too many broken plays, and Franks wants to go for it right here, but this is going to be a shovel pass inside to Burks, and Burks gets caught up on the left side, so that's a broken play. And then Burks also dropped one on a screen, a smoke screen outside, so that's 2 missed assignments early in this game. They had 35% of their offensive plays a week ago were negative dropped assignments.
George Carrington. A low line drive fielded by Austin Williams. He tumbles down at the 18. K.J. Costello back on the field against the Hogs after this.
You are watching the SEC Network's coverage of college football. Due to time constraints, we move you ahead in the action.
15 minutes in, back in Starkville, tied at 7. Kelly Stopper, Roy Philpott, Tara Talmadge. Hogs have it. Boyd slammed down hard, short of the first down. It'll bring up 3rd and short. Stopped by Marquise Spencer. Bulldogs ran 28 plays in the first quarter, just 4 for the Razorbacks. And Arkansas is going to pick up a first down. It's first of the night right here.
And Kendall Briles wants to go as fast as the game will allow him to go. And in order to do that, Arkansas has to be really, really successful on early downs. And that means running the football. That means Boyd in the box getting positive yards on 1st and 2nd.
For Keen Boyd, second team All-SEC, a nice stutter step. Finds a lane and picks up 4 yards, maybe 3.
And I think that's where the prove-it place is for this Mississippi State defense. It's a 3-3-5, a lot of movement, a lot happening after the snap on the defensive line of scrimmage.
Off play action, Franks is sent down. All the way back at the 16-yard line, Aaron Brule got there.
Brule is coming off the edge, but this is a run-pass option. You have a run option or you throw the slant behind it, and what you can't do is hold the football. There is no protection that allows Felipe Franks to hold on to the ball in that situation.
Second sack of the season for Brule. 3rd and 10. Five-man front for Mississippi State. Treylon Burks has it. Needed to get out to the 26, and I think he got there. Comes down to the spot ushered out by Fred Peters for the Bulldogs.
I think it's going to be a favorable spot, and a really nice job by Burks getting yards after catch, and Frank's going to the right guy on time.
Career numbers a week ago for Burks against Georgia. Drive continues. Boyd spun down at the 30.
You're going to see a snoot full of 1st and 2nd down runs, usually with Boyd. And then when this offense gets in a rhythm, what Kendall Brow likes to do is max protect. That means that move tight end will stay in and be a 6th blocker, and they want to take a home run shot in those situations. But until then, it's how fast can we administrate this game.
Straight ahead goes Franks. Another first down for the Hawks. And Kendall Browse told us this week we had 21 missed assignments on offense in that loss to Georgia. If we can correct those, we're going to spring guys like Felipe Franks ahead for positive yardage. More tempo. Franks play action. Wants it all. Has a man. Warren has it. Stopped inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal for Arkansas. And Martin Emerson prevented the touchdown, the first big play of the night for the Hawks.
And Marcus Murphy, number 7, gets nosy on the play action pass. He's supposed to be as deep as the deepest in the middle of the field. Play action, he steps up, and Jackson goes behind him, or Warren does.
It's a gain of 52. Boyd powers his way ahead down to the 6.
And this is something last week that Arkansas had almost none of, which was rhythm that allowed them to go fast. And today, it's because of 1st and 2nd down run success, whether it's Boyd or Felipe Franks keeping the football.
2nd and goal. The toss, Boyd to the edge. Tough running inside. Brought down at the 3. Jordan Davis got there first for Mississippi State.
So, Roy, we talked about it. Go fast. Briles talks about it being, it's actually K.J. Jefferson coming in at quarterback for Felipe Franks, which typically means a diverse type of run designed usually for Jefferson to keep the ball.
Redshirt freshman from right here in Mississippi. And that's what he'll do. Jefferson hit hard and brought down short of the goal line. Bulldogs were ready and waiting.
And it was a quarterback power variety. You're pulling linemen from left or from right to left, and then Jefferson is supposed to tuck up behind him, and there just wasn't anything there.
4th and goal. Sam Pittman appearing like he's going to go for it.
A great place for a timeout.
Jefferson stays on the field, the backup signal caller. He'll keep it. Jefferson lost the football. Mississippi State has it. London Craft prevented the touchdown. And an outstanding stand for the Bulldogs defense. Jefferson lost the handle. Bulldogs take over deep on their end after this. Back in Starkville, Mississippi State takes over after holding on downs moments ago with the backup quarterback on the field for Arkansas. Costello hands it off and across right tackle. A modest gain on first down. And Kelly, the question really has to be asked, what was going on there with Felipe Franks off the field and KJ Jefferson, the backup, on the playing surface? It really didn't add up.
Yeah, and here's Franks talking to Kendall Briles during that break, and I hope Franks is saying, why wasn't I in money ball time?
In 2 straight plays, and Jefferson was stopped by London Craft. Nice strike by Costello, and another first down for the Bulldogs.
And typically, the way it works is that there's a package that KJ Jefferson has, and they practice that in deep red zone. But I've never been a believer in it. You take your best quarterback, who's won the starting job for a reason, and you take him out during the most diverse coverage time in the game, down in deep money ball time.
3-man front for the Hogs. Bulldogs will run it again. Spun down as Marks right at the line of scrimmage. That was Grant Morgan who got there first, and he'll hobble off, 31 in white.
Man, the way this is breaking out, you're going to think the Pirates going to be running the triple option in the second half. What are we doing here?
What are we doing? 2nd and 10, 9 to go in the first. If you're just tuning in, Kylan Hill went out on the first possession after he was hit hard on what appeared to be a fumble. Double coverage toss is incomplete. Wally, the intended target, and he was blanketed that time by Jerry Jacobs.
It was Jacobs from the outside, and it was Poole from the inside. And KJ Costello and his receivers better get used to this, because right now Arkansas's defense is doing a much better job of slowing Mike Leach's scheme down than Bo Pelini did a week ago, playing man-to-man coverage all the time.
On 3rd down, Costello caught short of the line to gain, and that's going to bring up 4th down for the Bulldogs. Shavers again was stopped by Catalan.
Executed picture perfectly by Barry Odom's defense. There was a show of pressure, and in the end it was the same old thing that we've seen this entire first half. Rush 3, drop 8, and you said it. Caught short of the line to gain, and you break on the ball and you force a punt. That's beautifully executed defensive football right now for Arkansas.
Reed Bowman. Lucinda Wobbler. Peroni did not call for the fair catch. Hit hard at the 31. Hawks take over right after this.
Welcome back to Starkville. Let's take a look at how Arkansas defense is playing. Rush 3, drop 8. Look at all the clutter on the back end. And then even when it looks like a one-high safety, which is what LSU did, man-to-man defense all the time, they drop 8 once again, and there's a ton of clutter. And so even when you complete the pass, Barry Odom's game plan is to tackle well in space and force the KJ Costello and company to be ultra efficient and drive the football. Don't give explosives. Right now, Barry Odom's game plan is working to perfection.
Kelly Stoffer, Roy Philpott, Tara Talmadge. Back inside Davis-Wade Stadium. Home opener for number 16 Mississippi State, and movement up front for the Hogs.
False start on the offense. Number 62, 5-yard penalty. First down.
And Sam Pittman is a offensive line coach at heart. Just cannot tolerate those type of mental mistakes. The worst kind are the pre-snap mistakes like you saw right there.
Smith in the backfield. He'll get the carry. And the far side scamper will net 3, maybe 4. Nathan Pickering brought him down.
And as Kendall Briles wants to go jet fuel fast again, you have to be efficient on 1st and 2nd down.
He actually lost a yard on that play. Quick toss. Mike Woods has it. And a nifty move ahead to the 39. Fred Peters with a stop and a flag on the field as well.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense, number 7. That 15-yard penalty would be added to the end of the run. First down.
It's Marcus Murphy, the guilty party.
They're coming up from his safety position. And Mike Woods is trying to get yards after the catch, and Murphy just grabs the wrong place. Offensive football, first and foremost, is about alignment and assignment. And then you build from there, and right now Arkansas isn't doing that first step consistently well.
Into the boundary, and a nifty run for Smith, his second carry of the night. Murphy sent him out of bounds. Arkansas starting to find a little bit of a groove on offense.
And running the ball on first down is getting them there. They can be efficient on first, they can go fast.
Smith again, the hot hand, spun down, crossing the 40. It'll bring up 3rd and 3. Jaden Crumity got there first.
And those two plays don't seem that exciting, but the result is you're 3rd and where you want to be. 3rd and 3 or less is on schedule. And now Kendall Briles has a high probability of converting right here with a veteran quarterback in Franks.
Straight ahead goes Franks. He'll pick up the first down, diving to the 35. Where was that play on 3rd and goal moments ago?
Exactly. Sometimes coordinators overthink it. Felipe Franks wasn't even in there in the deep goal line situation on that previous series.
Off the pump fake. Franks with all kinds of time. Swing it out to Smith. Stopped at the 31. That was Marcus Murphy, who's had an active second quarter.
And that was a good decision because that was the shot play that Kendall Briles likes. As they march the ball a little bit, it's going to max protect, play action pass, and try to hit one over the top. Covered well by Mississippi State, checked down by Felipe Franks.
After a gain of 4, we'll try to catch our breath here in the booth for a minute. Arkansas moving quickly. Under offensive play caller Kendall Briles on this possession. We'll set up the screen. Trey Knox has a first down. Arkansas on the move, and a nifty move as he's brought out at the 20-yard line by Burge.
An easy access throw as this offense is known for. You can see that Mississippi State was out-leveraged on that side. There were 3 receivers and only 2 defenders.
Another pump fake for Franks towards the end zone for an easy touchdown. Devion Warren, his first score of the season, and number 10 in white has something to celebrate about.
And this is something that Kendall Briles learned from Lane Kiffin. It's the out and up off of that screen that they just ran the play before. It's the complementary play calling, and Lane Kiffin at Florida Atlantic taught that to Kendall Briles, the ability to set a big play up with the play that you run before it. And we saw, look at it there, it's the screen outside, and then it's the fake block on the screen, and Warren turns it up.
Hogs looking to erase a 20-game losing streak in the SEC, and Sam Pittman's feeling good after a fast start on the road. Felipe Franks, Devion Warren with the connection, and a 7-point lead. Physical game here in Starkville. Rakeem Boyd was helped off the playing surface moments ago, as was Grant Morgan. Mississippi State already without the services of Kylan Hill. Here in the heart of the SEC, it is physical tonight.
It has that feel about it. You know, the SEC is about physical first. Execute if you can, but beat someone up in the process. Roy, we talked about what Kiffin taught Briles. It's complementary play calling. It's the screen outside on one play, and you set up this touchdown. Instead of blocking, Warren fakes like he's going to go out and block the screen again, and then he leaks by that defender for a touchdown. And I talked with Kendall Briles about that. He was with Lane Kiffin at Florida Atlantic, and Kendall Briles was all about going fast, and that really was the offense. And Kiffin said, here, let me show you how to set up one play with another. And that's a great example of it. A screen for a good gain, and then a screen for a touchdown.
Another challenge in front of Mississippi State on first down. Costello off the pump fake, looking for Gardner. It's incomplete, and the coverage by Jacobs.
How many times have I said rush 3, drop 8 tonight?
Well, I think it's interesting because we've been up at Washington State a couple of times the last few years, and in the Apple Cup against Washington, that was the strategy employed by the Huskies in that great rivalry. Rush 3, drop 8, and it really was the kryptonite to the air raid a time or two.
Masterful job right now, game planning by Barry Odom. I mean, absolutely masterful.
Empty backfield again on second down. The swing pass cut down hard and a loss of 3. Boy, nothing doing on that play for Dylan Johnson.
Great reaction up to the screen once again.
Timeout for injury.
And it's the recognition by what you read, and then Brown just plants his foot and blows it up, and Brown is down. We'll see how he is when we come back.
Thank you very much. Back here in Stark Vegas, Buster Brown was assisted off the field moments ago after being banged up. That pass batted away by Bumper Poole at the last minute, and that'll bring up 4th down for Mississippi State.
Bumper Poole drops into a zone once again, and it's about getting your hand on the ball. Barry Odom told us that. Drop into your zone, feel the guys that are running into your zone, and squeeze it down when they're there, and that's exactly what Poole does. Masterpiece so far by Arkansas defensively.
You heard that Georgia score. Georgia, the number on Auburn so far, as Bowman sends that one out of bounds, and Arkansas is going to have some pretty good field position. We also remind you, coming up later tonight, we'll have SEC football final hosted by Dari Nowkhah, Gene Chizik, Chris Doering, Roman Harper. Take you through all the biggest stories of the day and break down all the college football games. The Rough and Rugged SEC, 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central, right here on SEC Network and the ESPN app. And one of the things they need to talk about was what your trusted play-by-play person told Paul Feinbaum yesterday at around 6:15 Eastern, and that was Auburn was going to find it very tough to move the football against Georgia and Kirby Smart.
I would have to see a replay of you actually saying that.
The Twitterverse was quite electric, especially from down on the plains afterwards. Auburn still with plenty of time to come back, mind you, over on ESPN. Under 5 to play, and Arkansas playing with house money to start on the road. Quick toss. Warren has it, stays in bounds, and there he goes. Tiptoes all the way down inside the 35. Martin Emerson ushered him out, but another big play for the Hogs.
And Warren has that elusiveness, and he has the speed as well. He has 1,500 yards in his career returning punts and kicks. So he's electric when he has the ball in his hands.
No Rakeem Boyd, no problem. Off play action, the dump off to the tight end. Nothing doing for Arkansas as Sean Preston prevented a big game.
So a little bit of a change up on this drive because Arkansas has been run heavy on 1st and 2nd down, and now it's play action pass on 1st and 2nd down on this drive.
So Warren picks up 18. No gain for Hudson Henry. Franks rolls out, tried to spot Henry once again, and that time too much mustard on that pass.
Franks has to put the ball on Henry. It was set up perfectly well. The guy that was pressuring Felipe Franks was on Hudson Henry initially. If Henry gets that ball, he has nothing but the sideline in front of him. It's always the quarterback's responsibility to get the ball in those type of situations over top of the pressure.
15,000 strong on hand here in Starkville.
Might be 2-down territory as well, depending on how this play goes.
Pocket collapses. Franks fires a pass. Caught. Catalan has it. Did he lose control for a moment? They scamper back to the original line of scrimmage, and Martin Emerson was ready and waiting as that play took a disastrous turn.
A 52-yard field goal attempt, but you're 4th and 13. And Sam Pittman talking to his young coordinator, Kendall Briles, and hey, brother, do you have a good play for 4th and 13?
The answer's never.
Not many guys do, but you don't gain much punting the ball, obviously, and it's a moonshot if you want to attempt a field goal here. Call a timeout and talk about it.
A.J. Reed is the kicker, and he transferred in from Duke during the offseason. So Sam Pittman and Kendall Briles will talk things over, and we'll remind you, Marty Smith and Ryan McGee are back to having some fun and talking about everything in the SEC. Wednesday, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app.
So instead, it's take a delay of game and give a little more room for the punter, I guess. Play field position. The way Barry Odom's defense is playing currently, that's not a bad choice.
Austin Williams back deep to receive. And the end-over-end punt is caught perfectly at the 5-yard line. Let's take a look at the road to the championship, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Kelly. Big outing for Kyle Trask and the Florida Gators at home, holding serve against South Carolina.
Solid. When you have a quarterback that brings stability to that position, and we had a chance to see Mac Jones in the first game he started after Tua got hurt, and he's a confident individual as well. But this day and age in college football, it's about having people at that quarterback position that are championship ready, and those two guys I believe are.
They're going to bring that last punt back due to an illegal formation. And Mike Leach is going to try to get some better field position for his offense. Bulldogs have all 3 timeouts remaining, under 3 to play in our first half. Physical game so far. As Arkansas is going to end up shoving the Bulldogs all the way back inside their 5 after that last exchange. Carrington did a great job for Arkansas there, the punter, Kelly.
Yeah, and Mike Leach's opportunity to gain a little bit of ground didn't work. That's exactly the way that phase of the game.
Touchback, first down.
Yeah, in that the ball breaks the plane. In the NFL, that play is good. In college football, if the ball breaks the plane, then it's deemed in the end zone. It's all about wherever the ball is. In the NFL, that's a great play.
Darius Bishop, you'll see that. Nice special teams play negated. Good effort. 1st and 10 for KJ Costello.
And a good decision by Mike Leach to have Arkansas punt it once again.
Number 16, Mississippi State trailing in its home opener to Arkansas. Costello out of the backfield. Upended. There's Jaquavius Marks by Greg Brooks, who's had himself a whale of a first 2 quarters.
And the drop 8 coverage is forcing a lot of short throws by KJ Costello. And in the early days, this offense was known more as a dink and dunk type of offense. But Mike Leach infused a lot of vertical opportunities. But Barry Odom's defense at Arkansas just simply isn't having any of it tonight.
Lawrence played well in the first half against Georgia last week, the number 4 team in the land. That pass swatted down by Bumper Poole. His second PBU tonight.
And Bumper Poole, first of all, is a terrific football man. And he has great instincts. Dropping to a zone allows the defenders to have their eyes on the quarterback. And then you feel receivers in your zone. You squeeze as you're watching the eyes of the quarterback. And Bumper Poole did all of those things on that play.
3rd down. Hogs showing pressure. They'll back out of it. Costello with all night. Surveys. And the dump off is there. That should move the chains. Dylan Johnson hauls it in. Stopped by Poole.
All of that time that Costello had that defense, that zone drop 8, kind of thin out a little bit. And they lost their bearings in terms of where their line to gain was and just got a little bit too soft in the end.
Under 2 to play in our first half. Costello. Long pass caught by Malik Heath. He's got another first down ahead to the 45. Jacobs, Catalan were there in coverage.
And that's one of the few places where Costello has found some room, is 8 to 10 to 12 yards on the outside, just like that play.
That was a long throw.
It was. Costello has a strong arm. There isn't any throw that he can't make.
Comes from an athletic family. Sister currently is training for the Olympics. Dad played football. They're expected to be here tonight. Watch the home debut of KJ Costello. Off the screen, Marks will pick up a couple. Stop at the 46. Greg Brooks, another tackle.
And Arkansas will take that all night long. And as Mississippi State decides to burn the first of their 3 timeouts. If you have 3, you burn 1 now. If you only have 2, you wait for it to get under a minute. So that's a good use of the first timeout. Look at rushing 3, building a ton of debris on the back end. Eyes on the quarterback, throw short and rally and tackle well. That's exactly what Barry Odom's guys have been doing all evening.
Are you surprised we are where we are? Less than 90 seconds remaining. Mike Leach's home debut with the air raid. He's been held to 7 points and he trails by a touchdown. And honestly, it could be more.
It absolutely could have been more if Arkansas would have been more efficient offensively, but I think it's a masterful game plan. And I've been a part of offenses that had to deal with this before. As quarterbacks, you would much rather be under pressure, have man-to-man coverage, and have big plays. When you have to be methodical and you have to be patient, sometimes that doesn't work very well.
Costello flush. There's a flag. And delivers a pass that was picked off near the 36. Arkansas has it. That flag likely for holding.
Yeah, Darian Parker, number 56, the right guard, is going to get called for the hold.
Joe Fouché came up with the interception.
And I talked about impatience. This is kind of what it looks like. Trying to make a play when there isn't one there to make.
On the offense, number 56. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is an interception. First down, Arkansas.
Remember what KJ Costello told us this week, that one of the things that he's learning is when to say uncle. Well, that was a great time to say uncle. Throw that ball 4 rows deep and line up for another play.
Fouché, the junior from New Orleans, didn't play much a week ago in the loss to Georgia back in Fayetteville. And the coach has told us this week that was a big deal. We're happy to have him back in much more consistent capacity. Pays dividends there. Arkansas has it. A couple of timeouts to work with. Already leading by a touchdown on the road. You just never know what to expect.
Never.
Saturday night in the SEC, your guess is as good as mine. Smith for the injured Rakeem Boyd has a first down and a gain of 11.
So, Roy, what you see Franks do is he comes to the line of scrimmage, gives a faux count, and then looks over to Kendall Briles. And Kendall Briles is playing like a video game. He sees the defense, calls the play, and Franks executes it.
Dump off to Smith was short.
Intentionally so. I think Franks was under pressure. And if that ball is caught by Smith, he's probably tackled in bounds, and you have to use one of your 2 remaining timeouts.
And if you're just tuning in, both all SEC running backs out of this one. Rakeem Boyd, Kylan Hill. Hogs had a pick 6 early by Greg Brooks Jr. And the air raid has been held in check so far. Smith dropped it. Pass went forward, so it's not a lateral. That ball is dead.
And that was going to be the old school screen. Dump it to the running back who leaks off to the right, and then the offensive linemen engage for 1001, and then they let their defender slip to the quarterback and get out in front, theoretically, of Smith, but he couldn't hang on to it. Franks just has to be a veteran right here. Make a really good decision. You certainly don't want to give Mississippi State something that they didn't earn in this first half.
Four-man pressure. Franks sidesteps it. Lost his balance and goes down behind the 40-yard line. Kobe Jones, a senior from right here in Starkville. And Franks slow to get up off the turf.
And Franks could have and probably should have thrown that ball away. He had Smith out in the left flat, and he could have airmailed him and punted the football away. And that way you also don't take this abuse. You know, we know that Franks has been beat up in his career. The stun outside by Wheat gets home, but there was a lot of time for Franks to throw that ball away. And that's one of the things that as a fifth-year senior you have to learn. Don't take unnecessary abuse. You're valuable when you're on the field for your team.
Tyrus Wheat, Kobe Jones formed a Felipe Franks sandwich that time, and that is not good if you're a fan of the Hogs.
And that's where you have to appropriate your experience if you're Franks. This is his 26th start of his career. That's a lot in college football. And so that time clock has to tell you, boom, the ball's out of bounds. I don't want to take a hit, and I certainly don't want to put the ball in harm's way.
Already injuries to Rakeem Boyd, Grant Morgan. Arkansas, Kelly, was also without the services of Dorian Gerald tonight, the starter at the Jack linebacker spot. And Julius Coates, we were told shortly before kickoff, didn't make the trip. So not to mention that Buster Brown went out just a few minutes ago as well. So maybe as many as 4 starters missing for Arkansas in this first half. And yet here they are with a touchdown lead.
How much of that do you think has to do with our dysfunctional COVID-19 preparation? Seems to be a lot of injuries.
NFL, we've seen it more.
Seen it in the NFL a lot. Maybe coincidental?
I don't think so. Austin Williams. Watch that punt drop right in front of him. George Carrington's being effective tonight as the Hogs punter. Bulldogs will take over there.
You never know what Mike Leach is going to do. KJ Costello has a strong arm, but one timeout, 39 seconds. And Barry Odom doesn't have to change his game plan in this situation. He's going to rush 3 and drop 8. And Barry Odom may change it up and only rush 2 and drop 9. Who knows?
Punt of 43 yards will pin Mike Leach's offense back deep in its own territory.
The question in the second half for Mike Leach is his offense ready to be as efficient as they're going to be asked to be in order to get points? In the first half, the answer has been absolutely not.
Bulldogs, timeout to work with. The shovel pass upended. And the air raid has been grounded so far in our first 2 quarters here at Davis Wade Stadium.
We haven't heard those cowbells a whole lot since Mike Leach walked out before the game.
Quick pass and the crosser out of bounds for Osiris Mitchell. 3rd reception of the night for number 5.
A little bit different in week 2 than Mike Leach in this offense was playing LSU a week ago.
Empty backfield, 13 seconds remaining here in our first half. Costello's been affected, but 2 picks have been costly as that pass is low and incomplete, looking for Cameron Gardner.
Well, the way football works, people are going to watch this tape and then they formulate an approach. And I don't know why you have any reason to change what we've seen Barry Odom and his defense do tonight. The question is, does the SEC have the stomach to rush 3, drop 8 when they have these magnificent defenders on the defensive side? They have great NFL cover corners, and we saw Bo Pelini was a little bit too stubborn last week and just refused to play zone. Didn't go well for him.
Fair catch by Perotti. Arkansas set. Just kneel this one out, and a very productive first half nearly in the books for the Hogs on the road, trying to erase a 20-game losing streak in SEC play and a 10-game losing streak overall. Felipe Franks appears to be okay.
Yeah, he's entering the huddle, and good news for Arkansas fans. But the question is, well, what's the answer for this air raid offense in the second half? It's a long-term solution. It's being more efficient and being patient. And sometimes the quarterback and the scheme just simply aren't ready to do that. And that might be what we're seeing right now.
14-7, our halftime score. Hogs had a pick 6, and the defense, led by play caller Barry Odom, has been phenomenal.
A masterpiece. Drop 8, rush 3. Your quarterback gets a little impatient. He's not seeing it all that well because he's impatient, and he starts throwing the ball to the other guys. I mean, that is an absolute defensive masterpiece.
Tara Talmadge has Sam Pittman, head coach of the Razorbacks.
Coach, the defense has done pretty well, a couple of picks. How do you feel about their performance so far?
I think they're playing great. I think Barry had a great game plan. The guys are executing it well. They're running, hitting, going the ball.
You've had a couple of big injuries on your side, but how do you make your offense more aggressive going into the second half?
I don't know. You know, we'll find out about how we're doing injury-wise. We've got to convert. You know, goal line, we got to score. And lucky thing, our defense held it. We went back and scored the next time. But we're a little beat up. We'll see how we'll have to find out how we're doing here when it go in at half.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good start on the road for Sam Pittman, year number 1 in Fayetteville against the Pirate. And the Hogs lead it 14-7. Halftime report coming up right after this break. Start of our third quarter back inside Davis Wade Stadium. A stunner so far here in the heart of the SEC. Arkansas leading the Bulldogs 14-7. Great to have you with us. Perfect night for college football so far with Kelly Stopper, Roy Philpott, Tara Talmadge down on the sidelines. And Mississippi State, Kelly, the talk of the college football universe through the first week of conference play. Different story so far tonight.
Yeah, and we wondered how they would handle the success that they had in week 1. And this first errant pass by KJ Costello and Greg Brooks Jr. takes it to the house. And that was really a sign of things to come. And then Devion Warren on the screen and go from Felipe Franks in that touchdown. But it was all about a masterpiece of a game plan by Barry Odom's defense in that first half.
Take a look at our Zaxby's first half stats. Really no surprise. Mississippi State put up yards, unable to grab the lead. going into halftime. And guess what? Arkansas is set to receive the football to start our third quarter.
So if you're Mississippi State offensively, what's the answer? The answer is more patience out of your quarterback. And the quarterback and receivers have to be on the same page. And that's easier said than done with a dysfunctional offseason in which this offense was installed in. And it may be asking a little bit too much too soon, but we'll see how this second half goes for Mike Leach and this air raid offense.
Hawks will have it at their 25 as we check in once again with Tara.
Well, guys, I had the chance to catch up with Mike Leach as he was coming back out onto the field after that half. I asked, what's going on with this offense? How do you get a little bit more aggressive and get KJ Costello into a groove? He said, we just got to do our jobs. I think the offense is trying to do too much now. I also asked him for an update on Kylan Hill. He said he's not going to give us one, but if you guys do notice, he is back out here on the field.
The offense, we just have to do our job.
Yeah.
And that's code for KJ Costello has to be more patient, and receivers have to read defenses, for crying out loud. If you're running a route that you cross a defense expecting man-to-man, you now know it's going to be zone. Throttle down for your quarterback.
Warren, off the motion set, bottled up after a short gain, and tripped up crossing the 27.
And you would expect tempo. Good first down play results in jet fuel speed out of Kendall Browse's offense.
Three-man front, play action for Franks. The dump off to Smith. He corrals it, ushered out short of the 30, so a short gain quickly makes it third down.
And it's 3rd and 5, and it's 3rd and makeable in this offense. And again, going fast is what Kendall Brow wants to do, but in order to go up tempo, you have to be really efficient on early downs.
Dogs showing pressure. Here it comes. Franks off the back foot. Has a first down. A nice move by Mike Woods. Into plus territory. Tripped up crossing midfield by Martin Emerson.
When the ball comes out on time and the ball placement is good, you can have yards after the catch. And that's exactly what happens between Franks and Woods right there.
It's a gain of 21. More tempo. Pitch, catch, and another first down for Arkansas. Let's see where they spot it for Hudson Henry.
Send 5 receivers down into the zone, show the numbers to the quarterbacks, and Frank is able to find Henry there.
2nd and inches, Franks dives for the first down.
Good job at 6'6", knowing what your offense needs. It's 2nd and very short. Dive for the first down, get another roll of the dice.
Kendall Browse, the offensive play caller. First-year head coach Sam Pittman trying to engineer an upset and end a losing streak in the process.
And watch for the shot play right here. As the offense is driving, this is when Browse likes to draw max protection and take a shot downfield.
All night for Franks. Caught by Knox. Stopped at the 31. And a nice gain on first down for Arkansas. Emerson the tackle.
And Franks was intending to go deep, like I just talked about. It was well defended on the back end by Mississippi State. They didn't bite on that coverage.
2nd and short, movement up front. They'll back him up 5.
False start on the offense, number 73, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Franks is doing a good job of getting through his progression quickly. And the check down to his right, start all the way to the left, which is where the vertical opportunity was. Soft coverage by Mississippi State. Continue to work your way over to your check down and then throw it out on time. That's good stuff by a veteran quarterback.
3-year starter at Florida. Transferred to Arkansas after being injured last season. Cal Trask took over. Frank said, let's try something different. Smith straight ahead. Rakeem Boyd still banged up. Nifty move and another first down for the Hogs. Traylon Smith in for the injured Rakeem Boyd. Was stopped by London Craft, but the drive continues.
Poor tackling inside, simple zone run, and then it's the yards after contact, and Arkansas is going fast again.
Pump fake for Franks. sails that pass out of bounds. A collision with the chain gang down there by Knox appears to be okay.
Just consider, Roy, the decision making we've seen by and large the whole evening out of Felipe Franks versus KJ Costello.
13 of 17 passing for Franks. A touchdown and most importantly, no picks.
No picks. And really, he's valued the football up to this point and hasn't really put it in harm's way, unlike KJ Costello a few times in that first half.
On second down, there's Smith, the dump off. Close to another Arkansas first down, tripped up inside the 15 by Errol Thompson.
You're driving the football and you add tempo to it.
And that's Thompson. Made the tackle, the injured Bulldog.
Yeah, and he really runs the defense. He probably has more snaps in this conference than any defender in 2020.
Timeout as we step aside. It's week number 2 in the SEC. Arkansas on the road, leading Mississippi State by 7. Kelly Stoffer, Roy Philpott, Tara Talmadge back in Stark Vegas. Hogs are driving again. Traylon Smith straight ahead. The Arizona State transfer tripped up at the last second. Martin Emerson with a shoestring stop. Otherwise, that may have been a lot worse.
Yeah, and Smith got a little greedy. There was an opportunity to just get north and south at the end of that play. And he tried to bounce it once again outside.
Just a gain of a yard on second down. Franks retreats wide open to the end zone for the touchdown. The tight end Hudson Henry. And some kind of coverage bust in the Mississippi State secondary, and the Hogs are rolling tonight.
And the coverage bust was actually quite late. It was that fake screen again. The lead receivers act like they're going to block for that now screen, and then you can see 82 Hudson Henry leaks into the corner of the end zone. It wasn't there initially, but it was there late, and Franks found it.
Extra point for A.J. Reed, up and good. Surprise, surprise. Arkansas leading Mississippi State by 2 touchdowns as we check in with Dari Nowkham. Crimson Tide rolling in T-Town. Hudson Henry getting the job done tonight for the Hogs. And of course, Arkansas fans very familiar. The Henry family. Hunter, of course, tight end for the LA Chargers. Hayden, senior linebacker. And they are Arkansas through and through, back in the natural state.
Sam Pittman talked about that tight end room. It's a place that they need to get more physical. They're very young. Henry's a redshirt freshman, and Blaine Toll is a true freshman. They have Marcus Henderson is the big body in that room, and they moved him from defensive line. He's their in-line guy. But by and large, they have to grow up in that room and become more physical to do what Kendall Browse wants to do offensively.
Devontae Payton stays alive and upended short of the 25-yard line. Well, it's been a while. 20 consecutive losses in SEC play, Kelly. You got to go back more than 1,000 days. Late October 2017, Arkansas rallies on the road in Oxford to topple Ole Miss. The last SEC victory, the defense stood tall. Connor Limpert late with a 34-yard field goal. Head coach at the time, Brett Bielema. That seems like 2 decades ago.
Yeah. Chad Morris is in there since that time, and now it's Sam Pittman. And an offensive line coach who are near and dear to my heart anyway, and has some really good things going currently.
Big shocker a week ago in college football. Mississippi State over LSU by 10 in Baton Rouge tonight. Arkansas trying to return the favor as Eric Gregory makes the stop.
Patience is a virtue. Remember how many times I tell you that, Roy? Patience, KJ Costello, is a virtue.
Still plenty of time. All sorts of weapons to work with. Underneath to Garrett Schrader. Former quarterback bustles ahead. He'll pick up a first down. Stopped by Poole.
What's wrong with that?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely. You just have to be patient. That's exactly what Barry Odom is going to give you. But he's going to make you prove it over and over and over again. Barry Odom is old school defensive minded, which is predicated on forcing an offense to prove they can drive the ball to get points.
No Kylan Hill to start our second half. No Rakeem Boyd. Aquarius Marks keeps the play alive. Tripped up to the 45 and a burst of energy now here in Starkville.
Yeah, and the defense sometimes gets tired of coming up and tackling well.
And that was Wally with the reception.
And Wally gets yards after contact, or catch, which we haven't seen a whole lot this evening. So defenses can wear down that way also.
Under 10 to play in the third. Delayed handoff. Marks this time. Tripped up. 3-yard gain. Stopped by Grant Morgan, who's back on the field for Arkansas.
Yards after catch last week for Mississippi State, 379. They have next to none tonight because of great game planning by Barry Odom and really good tackling in the first half, which has been somewhat shoddy on this drive for Arkansas defensively.
High snap, quickly corralled. And Marks makes something out of nothing into Arkansas territory. Jonathan Marshall with the tackle. And Morgan's been effective now that he's back on the field for the Hogs defense.
And Cole Smith is the starting center, number 57. He's an LSU transfer, and there were snap issues last week, especially at the beginning of that second quarter. There were multiple bad snaps, and one resulted in a fumble, and that was a high snap there.
Third and short. Plenty of time for Costello. Floats it. He has it. That'll move the sticks. Brooks was in coverage, but the drive stays alive for the Dogs.
And Brooks didn't feel the out route outside of him. And he was covering green grass inside. You have to continue to widen if that's the only route in your zone, and it was right there.
Cowbell's coming to life on this possession after a gain of 8. Dylan Johnson back on the field. And a gain of 8 more on first down. Poole and Catalan brought him down to the turf.
Well, we talked about what is the answer to the first half offensive miseries of the air raid, and it's right here. It's a willingness to run into a light, inviting tackle box, which Mississippi State is doing on this drive, and a patient quarterback that's willing to throw it 5 yards and see what your guys can do with it after they catch it.
Swing pass. Near side goes Johnson. Another first down for Mississippi State. Stopped at the 25 by Bishop.
And that's another run play, essentially. The blockers outside can engage because the ball's completed behind the line of scrimmage, and you should complete 99.97% of those type of plays.
KJ Costello is now taken to the air 38 times tonight already. Only 198 yards to show for it so far. Play action. Screen pass goes nowhere. Driven down, no gain on the play. Kylan Hill, no shoulder pass. His night appears to be done. He was taken out after the first possession, hit hard, lost the football. On a play that was ultimately ruled he was down before the ball was jarred loose.
And I think he was probably a massive part of the game plan coming into this game, and he would have carried the ball probably 15 times in that first half had he been healthy against this look from Barry Odom and Arkansas's defense. But someone else has to do it now. The game plan is still the same. Run into a very, very favorable tackle box.
5 in the box again for the Hogs. Johnson motions out. Across the middle. First down, Mississippi State. Wally's been active in this game. No receptions last week in the upset at LSU. 5 so far tonight.
And the lack of pressure allows Wally to get from the right all the way over to the far hash. And Costello finds him. That's patience, and that wins in this type of a defensive game plan.
Mike Leach loves it. After a gain of 10, Mississippi State knocking on the door. Trying to make this a one-possession game.
How many plays on this drive so far?
This is play number 11. Methodical, patient, the name of the game. Dump off inside, a short game.
So
bring up second down.
Defensive game planning is betting that the offense is going to implode somewhere between play 8 and play 10. Rarely do they get to double digit and get points at that time. And right now, Mississippi State has proven them wrong.
Malik Heath with that last reception, a gain of 4. And Schrader in motion. Costello. Johnson makes one man miss, upended at the 10. That was pulled. It'll bring up third down.
You know, it's taxing for a defense to drop into a zone, what now, pushing almost 40 times, and then rally to the ball and make good fundamental tackles. And Bumper Pool and others are getting fairly tired at this point in time, especially when Costello and company have been able to possess the ball in this first drive in the second half.
Big play here, third down and 4. Quavius Marks checks in. And now a timeout's going to be called by Mike Leach.
First charge timeout, Mississippi State.
The Pirates going to check out the play sheet and see if he can come up gold for a critical sequence coming up after this break. This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. Back in Start Vegas, Kelly Stopper, Tara Talmadge, Roy Philpott. Big play coming up for the Bulldogs, trailing by 2 scores. Third down and 4. 13th play of the drive coming up right now. Peyton in motion. Time for Costello, and there he goes. Diving ahead, Kelly. He's going to be about 1 yard short. Fourth down upcoming, and Mike Leach is going to go for it here, right?
I don't think there's any question. I think fourth and manageable. I think his offense just ran I think that was the 13th play of this drive. And I think you need to get this in the end zone, and it's almost a letdown at this point in time. This is a model for the type of football play, football drives that Mississippi State is not only going to have tonight, but probably the rest of this season.
Dylan Johnson in the backfield on fourth down. He'll get the handoff, makes a man miss towards the end zone for the touchdown. Big play on fourth down, and Dylan Johnson reaches Pater.
And Bumper Pool, the linebacker number 10, is the defender that comes free, and he's the defender that has to make the play, or it ends up in the end zone. Pool is free in the hole, and Smith bounces it correctly to the left and avoids Pool and gets in the end zone. But what a dramatic drive that was. 14 plays and a touchdown.
First touchdown in Dylan Johnson's career, the freshman from Greenville, Mississippi, and we got a ball game. Under 4 to play in the third. Now Mike Leach fever taking over. Beautiful city of Starkville. His book, Swing Your Sword, came last week down at Death Valley. 10-point upset against the defending champs. The Pirate back in the SEC for the first time in more than 20 years. Offensive play caller for Hal Mumme back at Kentucky, the late 1990s, and now here in Start Vegas. They appreciate good football, and they like what he's done so far for this program.
KJ Costello and Mike Leach are probably here for the same reason, except the challenge of running the air raid in this conference. But Roy, here's the template. Last week, Costello completed 36 balls for an average of 17 yards of completion. Tonight, it's 31 for under 7 yards in average completion. On that drive alone, 9 for 9, 51 yards. That's an average of 5.6. What's the moral of the story? Patience and the ultimate take what the defense gives you type of template that we just saw on that drive.
Back on the field is Felipe Franks. 15 of 20 through the air tonight, a $185 and 2 touchdowns. Feeling confident, he spots Trey Knox. Dives ahead close to a first down for the Hawks. They're going to give him the spot. That'll move the sticks. Spurge with a tackle.
Kendall Briles refers to those as easy access throws, and you typically have the ability to do that with your Felipe Franks anytime you have the right look.
Smith powers ahead, punishing finish, close to a 5-yard gain.
Early down success for Arkansas results in up-tempo from that point forward, and that's what we're seeing right now.
And this is the tempo that we're used to seeing at old school Baylor, perhaps current UCF. It is fast. Smith stop, crossing the 40, ahead to the 42. Nathan Pickering got there.
And alert to Felipe Franks' run right here on a quarterback's zone read type of play.
Smith gets it instead, tries to get to the edge. Does not get there. After the initial first down, the Bulldogs defense stands tall. And the punt team set to take the field for Arkansas.
And Felipe Franks probably should have kept this ball, but it's the zone run outside, and Brule, number 3, bubbled the play and forced it to the sideline, and you're hoping that your fast guys from the inside can catch it as the play goes outside, and that's exactly the way Mississippi State defended that run to the outside.
Here's Carrington. Beautiful punt. Austin Williams will make the fair catch at the 23. We're back in 15. Well, momentum has changed hands quickly in our third quarter, and Uncle Mo now resting with the Pirate Mike Leach.
Uncle Mo. I think Mike Leach probably has an uncle named Mo.
You know, we talked with him this week over that Zoom call. Talked a lot about Netflix and movies, and he wants to show Patton to the team at some point later this year. Scared to show him horror flicks that guys will get too scared. Across the middle, nifty move. Wally has a first down, ushered out, crossing the 35.
And Wally does a nice job. Watch how he throttles down right there. Show the number to the quarterbacks in the zone. Don't run through it, or you're going to have paint peeled off the side of your helmet. Throttle down, give KJ Costello a good target, and move the football. That's exactly the template that worked in that last drive.
10 completions in a row for KJ Costello after a gain of 14. Delayed handoff. Dylan Johnson spun down. And he'll gain maybe a yard. The initial contact by Bumper, Poole, and Kelly. It's 13 tackles tonight for number 10 in white.
Yeah, it's against the run, just like that play, but it's also reacting out of his zone drop and tackling very well. And we saw the missed tackle on the touchdown run by Smith on that last drive. And you wonder if this Arkansas defense is getting gassed just a little bit.
It's an issue a week ago against the Bulldogs back in Fayetteville. Swing pass, Mitchell. Bottled up quickly ahead to the 40. That'll be a gain of 1 as Bumper Poole makes tackle number 14.
Costello was under pressure, but he bought as much time as he could. And where's my outlet? Where's my escape hatch? And that's exactly who he goes through on time. And that's the way you have to execute. You're third and behind the sticks now, but at least it wasn't a negative play.
3rd and 8. Time winding down in our third quarter here in Starkville. Costello loads up, fires, caught, first down. The drive continues. Osiris Mitchell continues his outstanding work, reception number 5.
And Mitchell is going to sit down in that zone, and the first receiver cleared out. You can see that, and it created kind of a wake in that zone, and the next receiver comes and sits down right in it, and Costello finds him.
Injured Razorback back in Mississippi State territory.
The
Mitchell
first receiver
picked up 18.
clears out. It expands that zone a little bit, and Mitchell sits down in that clearance, and Costello puts it on him. That's an adjustment from the first half. The receivers weren't very good in the first half at making adjustments. They were running man-to-man type routes against a drop 8 cluttered zone on the back end, and it's frustrating as a quarterback when your receivers are running in and out of windows and you want to throw it, but you can't because your receiver continues on. I think quarterback and receivers have been much better in this second half at doing the right thing. What's Barry Odom's adjustment? You go a little bit more man-to-man in this second half.
You do not.
You do not, because the LSU tape is fresh in your mind.
It was Matthias Soli that was helped off the field, and Sam Pittman with 4 fingers in the air. His team with a chance to end a losing streak. Leading by 7, 15 to play in Starkville.
Tonight, in honor of mental health awareness. This is a cause that really hits home for head coach Mike Leach, a former coach at Washington State, where his quarterback Tyler Hilinski passed away in 2018. So these stickers are in hopes to raise some awareness and help eliminate the stigma around mental health.
Tara, thank you very much. Stronger together. Bulldogs going to try to employ that on the field with 15 to play back in Starkville. On first down, little shake and bake for Marks. And another big pickup for the Bulldogs, close to a first down.
Marks does a great job of creating his own shot right in the hole. There's a free tackler. You have to sometimes create your own, and Marks does a really good job on that run right there.
Kylan Hill's been out since the very first possession of the night for Mississippi State. Marks, Dylan Johnson have done an ample job in his place. Costello off play action, floats it, and it's going to be intercepted. Once again, Fouché, second pick of the night. Third interception for KJ Costello. That one enormous to start our fourth quarter.
Well, Costello was hoping that Fouché would be the defender that's affected by that play action pass, and he simply wasn't. Number 7 continued to get depth. And as a quarterback, you have to feel that more than you see it. And you don't see a clean look, then that ball has to go out of bounds or it has to go elsewhere. And Fouché did a really nice job. One step forward. Running back doesn't have the ball. You continue to get depth.
Think about what Sam Pittman told us this week. SEC football, this is a big man's league. Joe Fouché now coming up with some big-time plays. His second interception tonight.
And Fouché is an experienced player, and so he reacted to the run somewhat initially, but responded really well in getting under that route.
Franks back on the field. The quick give to T.J. Hammonds. Reverses the field. A late flag falls down at the 40. He lost a couple of yards in that sequence, tackled by Marcus Murphy, and a lot happening there.
Yeah, and Morris, 19, I think is going to get called for a clip after that play was turned back. And so Arkansas's offense is going to go further into the hole.
You know, Kendall Briles trying to keep his foot on the gas pedal to start this fourth quarter after the turnover. As we await the word from Matt Leffler.
Illegal block in the back, number 19. That penalty's 10 yards, replay, first down.
And it was ever so slightly by Tyson Morris. Right at the top of the play, you could see it off to the right in that split screen, but nonetheless, Kendall Briles is going to be backed up to some extent. A really, really important time in this game. 21-14. You get a great turnover by Fouché, and now you're in a backed up 1st and 20 situation. Franks can't make a mistake right here.
Smith in the backfield. He'll get the call. And hit hard at the 41, and that's it. Harold Thompson met him first, along with Esias Verge.
A situational football for Felipe Franks. You were 1st and 20. You can get it back potentially.
Smith with real estate. Hit hard, brought down after a short gain. It'll be 3rd and long.
But the minimum requirement right now is A, don't turn the ball over, and B, try to flip the field positional-wise. Field position-wise, and we'll see if Arkansas accomplishes that or even more.
Cowbells will tell the story on 3rd down. All night for Franks. And the Bulldogs defense does its job after a costly turnover.
Yeah, and Franks got some of Barry Odom's defense. A light rush, drop a bunch into coverage at 3rd and 13, and force Franks to ultimately throw the ball away, which is a terrific decision. And now the punter just has to make a play right here.
Golden opportunity blown there by Arkansas, leading by a touchdown. Good field position. Heavy pressure for Carrington. And Wally with a fair catch at the 8. Drama in Stark Vegas. One possession game. Back after this. Great night for Felipe Franks. Work in progress for KJ Costello after throwing for 623 a week ago. Those 3 picks, Kelly Stoffer, a bit costly so far.
Yeah, a little impatient to say the least, and you have to simply know when to say uncle in Costello's own words and throw the ball out of bounds.
One of those interceptions brought back for a touchdown. Nearly picked off again as that pass was dropped by Jo'quavious Marks.
And remember what Barry Odom is betting on is that most offenses, let alone this offense, isn't really built to drive the football to double-digit plays in order to get points. We saw a 14-play drive that covered 67 yards for a touchdown, but that's been few and far between.
Six in the box for the Hogs. He'll rush 3. Johnson makes one man miss. Stop at the 15 by Catalan.
But then the key is you have to tackle well. Way more missed tackles in this second half out of Arkansas than we saw in the first half. Remember, they lack depth on the defensive side.
Johnson came out of his shoe.
Yeah, that's all that got tackled in that last play was like Greg Brooks tackled the shoe. That doesn't count.
Back to work for the air raid. Marks in the backfield. Payton in motion. Across the middle. Heath has it. Retreats after having first down yardage, and I don't think he got there. Forward progress is going to be stopped at the 17-yard line. It was Grant Morgan and Greg Brooks that time.
Malik Heath had the first down. He had the yard to gain right there. Just back up or turn around and go straight forward. You don't always have to make the splash play. The little things win so many times. And that was a poor decision by Heath right there.
3 and out for the air raid, and Mike Leach.
Situational football.
Nathan Perotti. Watch that punt. Take a Bulldogs bounce. Whistle dead at the 32. Hogs get it after this break. Starkville, Davis-Wade Stadium, 15,000 on hand, 11 to play, and a touchdown lead for Arkansas. Kelly Stoffer, Roy Philpott, Tara Talmadge. Great to have you with us tonight. Perfect evening for college football in the SEC. And so far, so good for a program trying to end a 20-game Southeastern Conference losing streak.
How many days did you say it was? Like 1,000 something?
1,071.
Ooh, that's a lot. Brett Bielema, 2017. Wisconsin South was still in Fayetteville.
Watch yourself over there.
What? What do they say?
Sam Pittman, part of that staff.
Yeah, that's true.
Bulldogs bringing pressure, the empty backfield. Franks nearly tripped up, stays alive. And he'll be lassoed around at the 30. That'll be a sack and a loss of 2, maybe 3 by Nathan Pickering.
Felipe Franks needs to apply his experience right there. Why lose 2 yards? You're standing almost out of bounds. Throw it across the line of scrimmage.
Tempo. Ball came out. Mississippi State has it. It was an awkward play from the onset and a costly turnover for the Arkansas Razorbacks as Aaron Brule comes away with it.
Well, harken back to the game against Georgia last week. TJ Hammonds did essentially the same thing in that disastrous start of the second quarter that almost put Arkansas out of the way. And you try a double reverse that Warren didn't know that he was going to get the ball. And it was actually going, and that was just, I think, a miscommunication on the mesh. Warren was going outside. Do I have the ball or not? Felipe Franks tries to hang on to that mesh as long as possible. And Felipe Franks had a lineman pulling and leading down the middle if he would have kept the ball.
Dog collar placed appropriately. The neck of Aaron Brule. Bulldogs in business. Knocking on the door of the red zone. Dylan Johnson spun down hard after a short game. Jonathan Marshall got there first.
And that's just a staple in Kendall Browse's offense. It's a way to get speed in the run game. And Warren is that guy. So simply do a zone read to him. And if he doesn't get the ball, Franks keeps it and goes down Main Street. But there was a miscommunication in who was actually going to get the ball right there.
Approaching 10 to play here in Starkville. Johnson ahead to the 13-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and short. Bumper pull. Grant Morgan brought him down to the turf. And now KJ Costello with 37 completions. That is a new school record, one that he broke just 1 week ago at Tiger Stadium.
And Costello needs to be thinking right here, 3rd and 2, situational football at its finest. Be a great decision maker.
Johnson tries to push the pile. I don't think he got there. Needed 2. He was driven backwards after a short gain. Eric Gregory, Joe Fouché. Boy, he's been active.
There wasn't much of a push. The air raid run game is very basic. It's zoned right down the middle of the road and nothing there.
4th down. You know what Mike Leach is going to do, trailing by a touchdown. Costello to the air. Out in the flats, and it's incomplete. Gardner probably should have caught that one. The pass came in low and hot from KJ Costello. And the Hogs are going to get it back. Simple pitch and catch. Not there.
Let's take a look at that 4th down play. Costello is reading Ladarius Bishop right there. You're going to have these receivers breaking inside. It's all about what that defender does. Gardner is going to cue back outside. If that defender, Bishop, hesitates right there for a second, you have a gimme outside. It was just simply a poorly thrown ball by KJ Costello. Maybe a little conservatively throwing it low and outside. but he didn't need to do that.
Felipe Franks back on the field. Under 9 to play in our fourth quarter. Arkansas leads it by a touchdown. And the stop by Jordan Davis prevents anything from happening that time. Traylon Smith. Kelly Stoffer, Roy Philpott, Tara Talmadge. Beautiful night for college football here in the Southeastern Conference. Kendall Briles trying to dial something up here on 2nd and long. Play action. Sing. Warren lost it, nearly picked off on the carom. Martin Emerson was all over that play like a hawk.
Oh my, it was play action by Felipe Franks and thrown into like quadruple coverage to Warren. Very fortunate this ball wasn't turned over again.
Injured Bulldog at the 45. It appears to be Emerson. This has been a physical, hard-hitting contest tonight in Magnolia State.
Wow, it just seems like Arkansas offensively is taking some undue risk. When it's situational football right now and the biggest objective is to run clock.
Pair of all SEC running backs left this game in the first half with injuries. A couple of turnovers for both sides. A pick 6 for KJ Costello, and now Kendall Briles back to the drawing board on 3rd and long. Franks off the pump fake. Pressure. Dangerous toss, and it's incomplete. Trying to spot Smith. Marquise Spencer came barreling down. Big number 42.
And the play to the left was that faux screen where the blocker turns upfield and Franks didn't have anybody. And then the pressure got to him. Franks was very fortunate that he had an outlet receiver, Smith, to that side. The last thing you want to do right there is get backed up even further where your punter has to essentially punt out of the back of the end zone. Been a couple disastrous drives by Arkansas when they had a chance to salt this game away.
And you wonder, depth perhaps lacking. Ran out of gas a week ago against Georgia at home. Here's Wally on the fly. Has the convoy. Tripped up, plus territory, all the way down to the 29-yard line.
KJ Costello has been a little bit impatient, to say the least. Barry Odom is forcing Costello to find tight windows and be patient, throw the ball away, and it's been a gaggle of interceptions instead. And yet, Mississippi State has an opportunity to at least tie this game up right here on this drive. Some of the stuff we've seen out of Arkansas as we're going to get a substitution infraction.
12 in the formation on the offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Mississippi State moves back 5, but you see why Arkansas hasn't won an SEC game since 2017 is because of the play the last couple of drives offensively when they essentially were unable to take much of anything off the clock in terms of time.
Jaquavius Marks in the backfield. He'll get it on the swing pass. Punishing finish inside the 30. They'll get the penalty yardage back. It'll bring up 2nd and 9.
Barry Odom's defense is getting tired, and tackling technique and fundamentals fall by the wayside when you get tired, and KJ Costello just needs to continue to force that coverage up to make tackles.
Give him the extra yard. 2nd and 8 for KJ Costello. Underneath, Johnson. Dylan Johnson's been active on the ground through the air. That's his 9th reception of the night. Grant Morgan brought him down along with Bishop.
certainly 4-down territory, 3rd and 5. So you really just need more of the same right here.
And that was Marks with the grab. His 8th. He had 2 downs to go 5 yards. Costello hesitates, fires, caught, 1st down. Gardner's got it. The drive continues. Tackled by Poole.
A nice job of Gardner continuing to stay alive as that crossing route finally comes into Costello's view as KJ buys a little time out to his right.
Mississippi State running backs have combined to catch 16 passes this evening. They'll hand it off the Marks here, straight ahead. And stopped right near the 10-yard line by Isaiah Nichols. So a 4-yard pickup, and here come the Bulldogs, under 6 to play, Kelly.
And that run game has been vital in the second half because of that light box that this air raid offense of Mike Leach has been seeing, and a willingness for Mike Leach to run the football up into that look.
Plenty of time for Costello. End zone. Incomplete. Triple coverage was there. Javonte Payton nearly hauled it in near the back. Blair, Jalen Catalon made sure that was not a touchdown.
And Catalon and Blair go up and make a play on this ball. Payton had it for a second, and then it was Blair that comes in and blows up the catch pocket. That ball was destined to come down by Payton in the end zone, and Blair blew it up.
3rd and 6. Here's Costello. Pressure. Will run with it. Needed to cross the 6-yard line, and he didn't get there. It'll be 4th down and 1.
Wow. Costello had the room as well, and he dove head first, which is the right thing to do. If you slide, it's where your butt starts to go down. Costello should have just put his shoulder down and got to that line to gain.
Bumper Poole just made his 19th tackle of the night for Arkansas. And that was an ultra big stop.
Well, you give it, I think, on the zone run up inside.
Marks straight ahead, met with resistance. Down he goes. He's going to lose a couple of yards. And the Hawks defense stands tall. Jonathan Marshall. And this one hurts Mississippi State on 4th down. Hawks will get it back, leading by a touchdown on the road. Sam Pittman told us this week it's all about mental toughness. You can't be tough unless you think you are, and you can't think you are until you see it. Kelly, I think he's seen plenty tonight, the toughness department. Hawks standing tall on the road, trying to engineer an upset of gargantuan proportions, ending a losing streak in the process, and they're about 4.5 minutes away from doing all of that and then some.
Yeah, and Sam Pittman's team just needs to be smart right now, and that was, once again, not a smart play by Traylon Smith. You run the football, you have to stay in bounds. The clock is your adversary right now. You want to keep it running, and it stopped for a second and then starts back up again.
Bulldogs still have a couple of timeouts to work with, trailing by a touchdown at home a week after upsetting LSU on the road. Here's Smith. Jump cut, stutter step, close to a 1st down. It'll bring up 3rd and short. Marcus Murphy with a tackle.
And Smith has had himself a nice game. Remember, Rakeem Boyd got hurt early in this one, and so the running game has been on Traylon Smith's shoulders, and he's held up really well. Sam Pittman told us as we wait for a measurement here that, you know, Kendall Briles' style of play is just a little bit different, to say the least, than what Pittman is used to. But he said in the SEC, I wanted a scheme that would give me lighter boxes than I saw when I was an offensive line coach trying to maul people in the A-gaps. And Kendall Briles is heading that direction. So I believe that they come up just a go short.
Under 4 to play, 3rd and inches.
And this is where you would hope that your quarterback is able to take a snap from underneath the center. The thing that I don't like about the way college football is played is the quarterback is always in the shotgun, and you have 3rd and inches, and you have to snap it 5.5 yards deep to gain those 2 inches. I don't like that. Look for maybe a sugar huddle and a quick snap right here.
See if Franks goes under center and tries to push the pile in his favor. Out of the pistol. Quick snap. Bottled up. I don't think so. I don't think so. They did not get it. It'll bring up 4th down, 3 and out for the Hogs. And the Bulldogs find a way on defense once again.
Unbelievable. Snap it 5 yards deep to gain a couple of inches. Absolutely no push. In fact, the offensive line of scrimmage was relocated about a yard back. But the other thing I don't like is a quick count when offensive linemen haven't really identified their landmarks yet when it's 3rd and inches. I think that's double jeopardy on that play call.
Kobe Jones with penetration, along with Crumity. And a fair catch called for, and not made on the punt. Did Mississippi State jump back on it? They did not. Wally lost sight of the football as it came down in the Mississippi night. Arkansas gets it back in plus territory, no less.
Well, there are ways that you lose 20 conference games in a row, and we've seen plenty of that. But there are also ways that that losing streak is broken. And Wally coughs it up, fair catching the football.
Edwards jumped down on it.
Wow.
The muff punt by Wally, which otherwise had a spectacular night after not recording a single catch last week at LSU. Mike Leach can't believe it. New life for the Arkansas O. 4 turnovers now for Hail State. Play action Henry. And he's tripped up quickly by Martin Emerson. Bulldogs have 2 timeouts remaining, Kelly, as time winds down in our 4th quarter.
And you probably use one of those timeouts after this 2nd down play if it's successful for Mississippi State's defense.
Who wants it? Sam Pittman's hoping his club does, trying to end the losing skid.
What was that about mental toughness? I don't know if we're seeing it yet.
What a win this would be for Felipe Franks. Transferring in from Florida, trying to resurrect this once great Arkansas program. Traylon Smith cuts, explodes, stopped at the 35, and a timeout's called as Kobe Jones kept that to a short gain. Well, a lot to talk about coming up later tonight. We'll have SEC football final hosted by Dari Noka, Gene Chizik, Chris Doering, Roman Harper. We'll break it all down. It's 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central, right here on the SEC Network. Georgia Bulldogs taking care of Auburn at home as we speak. Tell you what, Kelly, for our game here tonight in Starkville, this has been one of the games of the day. It's been back and forth, ultra physical. Mike Leach in his home debut. The air raid has been grounded for the most part, and Arkansas trying to make a little noise in the SEC West for the first time in a long time.
Wow, yeah. 1,071 days, 20 conference games lost in a row, and Felipe Franks came to Fayetteville to be a stabilizing factor. As Tara told us to start the show, there have been 8 quarterbacks in the last 2 years at that position, and Felipe is here to say, you know what, there's a new sheriff in town, and we're going to do things a little bit differently. And he hasn't been spectacular, but he has rarely put the ball in harm's way tonight, and that's your #1 responsibility at that quarterback position.
Bulldogs with 1 timeout left. Arkansas needs 8 yards here. Smith is open in the flats instead. Down the field for a first down is Devion Warren. The drive continues, and Warren has torched Mississippi State all night.
The best thing that Felipe Franks does is throw on the run. There's a running back, Smith, going to the flat, and then Warren is that second level that has to work his way into that void as the outside receiver goes vertical and creates that opening, and Franks puts it on him. What a big play.
Bulldogs with just that 1 timeout left. That's going to do it, Kelly. 11 yards on 3rd and 8. That puts Warren at 100 yards for tonight. And the Hogs are going to pull off a shocker in Starkville.
Wow. Mississippi State burns their final timeout, but it's going to be to no avail. The sweetest moment is victory formation on the road, and I'm assuming it's amplified even more if you've lost 20 of these in a row.
We go back to October 2017 on the road in Oxford against Ole Miss, the last SEC victory for the Arkansas Razorbacks. It's been a long time coming. It was a late field goal. Connor Lippert from 34 yards out. That saved the day that afternoon, and who would have thought way back then you'd have to go all the way to 2020 in the strange year that this has been to find the next SEC win, and it would be Sam Pittman as the new head coach in Fayetteville.
And Sam Pittman intends to bring that toughness that you referred to. As an offensive line guy, toughness is like intrinsic, and yet his offensive style is a little bit different than what he's used to, but he's willing to do something as Frank extends the play and then finally takes a knee.
Late flag on the field. And Pittman was asked about it this week. Hey, coach, do you think the losing streak comes to an end this season? And he said, well, yeah, of course, I hope that it does, and I hope that it happens this Saturday, because not a lot of people back in Arkansas were thinking it would go down facing a team like this off an upset like it had at LSU a week ago.
And Sam Pittman is real. You know, he has confidence in who he is, and that's what we heard out of him. He thinks he's doing the right things. He thinks Barry Odom
After
is
the
a
play was over,
superstar.
unsportsmanlike conduct, number 8 on the offense. That's a 15-yard penalty. That's number 8's first of the game.
And Mike Woods.
Yeah, mixes it up, and it's a great time to keep your composure. And Sam Pittman is making sure that he's telling all of his guys that very thing. Just at the bottom of the screen, it's the last guy to make contact in the scrum that gets called for it, but those are the things that have to stop. It's not going to hurt Sam Pittman's team right here, but over time, that's a lack of mental toughness. What do we have to do to salt this thing away with 1:21 left? Well, they have the ability to do that.
Well, the clock stopped with the penalty, and now Arkansas is going to call a timeout. So
First timeout.
with sheer
Arkansas.
mathematics,
30
that
seconds
penalty
on the break.
kind of changes the complexion.
Yes.
The final 81 seconds here with the Bulldogs out of ways to stop the clock on 3rd and 35. Still a chance to get the football
Exactly.
back with a few ticks of the clock remaining.
That's what Sam Pittman was telling Mike Woods and lighten him up. The one thing that would prevent us from salting this away. And Franks is trying to extend it time-wise, and then Mike Woods comes flying in and gets called for the unsportsmanlike, and it stops the clock. Unbelievable at 3rd and 35 now.
It's never easy, is it?
Oh my goodness. There's a reason that this program has lost 20 conference games in a row, and we're seeing about a dozen of them in this 4th quarter.
Good night otherwise for Sam Pittman. Still some work to do. Try to close this one out. He's letting the emotions hang loose. Rightfully so.
And you don't want to put the ball in harm's way here. You want to keep the clock going or start it going.
Franks needs to stay in bounds, and he will. Back into Mississippi State territory. It'll bring up 4th down as the play clock starts to wind. Looking at just over 25, maybe 27 seconds left for Mississippi State to work with, trailing by a touchdown after what we think will be an Arkansas punt.
And that doesn't sound like much, but it's 25 to 20 seconds more than Mississippi State should have mathematically had the chance to have. Oh my goodness. Brother, you can't make some of this stuff up.
No, you cannot. Felipe Franks can't believe it. 32 ticks of the clock remain.
30 seconds in duration.
Hogs utilize a timeout. They have 1 remaining.
So you run the clock down, the play clock, and you call a timeout because you don't want to give up 5 yards for the delay of game. And then your punter needs to punt this to nowhere. Remember what happened last week.
Hobbs trying to punt one away against Georgia. Didn't happen. Special teams back on the drawing board this week in practice. Sam Pittman, that was one of the first things he told us in our Zoom meeting back on Wednesday. Got to be better there. If we are, we feel like we may have a chance at this thing.
Yeah, and he said the game went exactly like he thought. The defense played well because they practiced well. The offense practiced inconsistently so, and they were inconsistent in the game. And the special teams stunk, and they stunk in that game.
Reed Bauer checks in to punt this one away. And Austin Williams away for the fair catch. Just like we expected, about 25 seconds to work with. Mississippi State in need of a miracle.
"25 seconds, you have no timeouts, KJ Costello, so you're working it to the sideline if possible. Obviously, the defense knows that. There's been rushing 3 and dropping 8 all night long, so you're going to get the same thing right here because it's the thing to do anyway."
Empty backfield, out of timeouts, on a wing and a prayer for the air raid. Costello across the middle, caught. And that is not what you want to see if you're a fan of Mississippi State. Clock does not stop. And now it will. 14 seconds remaining.
That was a really nice catch by Smith, but it's probably a ball that you wish he wouldn't have caught. And actually, I think that was Dylan Johnson that caught that one.
3rd and 2. Hogs on the verge of the upset. It's been a long time coming in Fayetteville. Costello off the back foot, 4th down. .623 yards a week ago, 290 tonight against Barry Odom's zone defense.
So you probably have time to throw something to the sideline and get a last Hail Mary type of play with 8 seconds left, but I'm not sure there's going to be anything out to the sideline.
Also have to pick up the 1st down just to have a chance to try to do something. We'll do that here with Marks. Scampers out at the 27. 4 seconds remaining. This may be the final play of the night. And the Hogs lining up all the way back the Arkansas 30-yard line. The prevent defense checks in. Costello try to lateral this one. And it will not happen. The Hogs find a way on the road. The losing streak is over, and what a win for Sam Pittman. 21-14, the final score. First win in the Southeastern Conference in almost 3 years.
We talked about the fact that one of the keys was Felipe Franks had to be a terrific decision maker, and he was that all night. And KJ Costello was going to have to prove that he could be patient, and he was rarely that this evening.
The air raid was grounded. What a job done by Barry Odom. You got to tip your cap to a guy that was at Missouri last year as the head coach. Defense was sound. The wins really didn't follow suit. And then now at Arkansas, he pays immediate dividends for head coach Sam Pittman.
Yeah, and Barry Odom told us that he's a man-to-man coverage guy by heart, but something else was called for against this scheme, and we saw it. It was 3 drop 8 until the cows come home, and by and large, Mississippi State certainly couldn't solve that consistently.
In 2020, the 20-game losing streak is over for Arkansas. You never know what to expect in this conference. The Hogs find a way. Final score, 21.